about it for the culture. Let's talk about it for the culture.
What's up, people? This is Objective Culture. My name is Dre.
Luda.
Ray.
And today we have a topic that's starting to die down on social media, but we just wanted to bring the conversation because I feel like the conversation surrounding the situation could still be had. It's the whole Keith Lee Atlanta restaurant thing. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who do
The food reviews?
he critique restaurants.
So basically, I mean, we all know what happened with that, the outcome and everything, but the question that I kind of have for us today that I want us to talk about is, do we have more of a duty to like uplift and support each other, or do y'all think we have more of a duty to, in business, to like critique each other and hold each other to a higher standard? What's your thoughts on that? I don't know which one of y'all want to go first.
I'll go first. In my opinion, I think we should. I don't think it's not wrong with giving a honest critique of a restaurant.
Okay.
If it's owned by us, because how you gonna get better if you're not being told the truth about what's going on?
Okay, yeah, I agree with that, but I'm guessing the problem that people had with what he did was that I think it was more than one. Was it more than one?
Mm-hmm.
For one, that it was more than one, and he did it in a way where they feel like he could have been a little more gentle with the business. Restaurant aside, let's just say restaurant aside, let's just talk about us as a whole, just black businesses, period. Do you still feel like we should be our own hardest critiques and critics and hold each other to a higher standard versus?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Because a lot of black businesses get a bad rap because they don't operate
That's a good point.
at a certain level. So like black businesses usually is like the lowest on the totem pole out of everybody's businesses.
That's a good point.
Because of a certain way how they operate.
Luda, how do you feel?
I feel like we should hold each other accountable. I feel like we should hold each other accountable. I feel like you can't continue to grow as a business without knowing what needs to be fixed.
From
like
your consumer.
If there's, people within your organization who aren't the most friendly or aren't the most cheerful about coming to their job, and they make your time at the place that they work at a hard time, and it's like, I came here for this specific thing, and you're providing me with horrible customer service. Why did I come into your establishment and have to wait an hour, but somebody with notoriety gets to come into your establishment and they get immediate service? Like, what makes him more important than me if we both come in to do the exact same thing?
Yeah. I mean, I get where both of y'all are coming from, and for the most part, I do agree. But it's the other side of the coin that people was bringing up, which I kind of also agree with too, is that we should be our biggest supporters and be a little more gentle with how we deal with each other when it comes to business and everything, because it is more of an uphill battle for our people. And like,
no one's else gonna be gentle with us.
Okay, I can agree with that, but if no one else is going to, why not we be gentle with each other? And
there's nothing wrong with being gentle if the service or whatever isn't lacking.
Okay, I'm not saying you. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm not saying we have to just blindly follow and support businesses just because they're black.
Because like we go to work and like it's our hard-earned money, and if we expect a certain service or a certain quality, just because you the same color as me don't mean you should get leeway to lack and my money be wasted.
Well, that's going under the assumption that it's just that someone's lacking or not trying to. What if it's just that it's a business that's just getting started up, or they're going through the phase of going through employees and everything? You don't think that we should give each other that grace to kind of get ourselves established, because the other places, they already established because they got that grace because they was awarded that. I feel like with these black-owned businesses, it's like one mess up, or if you don't get on your feet fast enough, we quick to run off and say, all right, well, that's trash, so on to the next thing.
I feel like no one jumps to that conclusion off of good customer service. If the quality of whatever the establishment has isn't up to par, but the customer, like you walk in and they just welcome you. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for thanks for shopping with us. Thanks for coming to. How may I help you? Do you need any help with anything? If they're giving the service as what their job is to do for the people that, these people hire to work in their businesses, and if everybody in there is like-minded as the business owner, and we're going to make sure we are providing this service, then I don't see a reason why black people would go in there and say, no, this is trash, I'm never coming here again. I think it's only when we feel like we're being slighted, and then when we make a point about it, the point is being rejected instead of saying, okay, I'll make sure that never happens again in my restaurant or in my store. Like, they don't take the critique or take whatever the issue is as, okay, I'm going to make sure this never happens again. They take it as, oh, well, you don't got to come here if you don't want to be here.
Right. That does happen a lot.
Well, yeah, that too. But I also know that we love kicking our own backs in. And I know once it become cool to say a place isn't good, we will continue that narrative and make a joke out of it. Meanwhile, you know what I mean? There's a black business owner that we pushing and saying everybody should be trying to do that's being ruined behind us. Like I said, kicking our own backs in and saying, well, we're not going to give you another chance, even if the service was good or even if this was good. But if something lacked, it becomes a joke. Like, how many times have you seen something become a joke just because one person started it and it caused a chain reaction, and black people are so, for a lack of, I don't even want to say the term, but one see, one do, that, you know what I mean? And some black businesses, they really can't just come back from that. Or small businesses, period. Can y'all acknowledge that at least is a thing that sometime in our community, we will say, okay, this is no longer good, this is no longer cool, so nobody mess with it, and that just becomes that.
Yes, but I think it's usually a reason why. When like in our community, when black businesses open up, we go and try and support just because of that. And then after the service is bad or something like that is when we kind of shy away from it. Or say the food ain't up to par. The customer service ain't up to par. The items that we order come 6 weeks late. Stuff like that. That's when people be like, well, yeah, I ain't messing with that no more.
Okay. You got anything else on this? Because I wanted to spawn this into another conversation.
I mean, yeah, like, it's just the overall experience. If when your store opened, everything was neat and tight and in the right places, and over, let's say, 6 months, I come back to your store and stuff just not looking as right. The experience ain't quite the same. The employees aren't quite as greedy. At that point, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna probably wing back on coming to this place. They don't look like they care about their store no more. And I don't think that the consumer should be faulted for saying, I'm not coming back to mediocre because they've accepted mediocre.
And just because they black.
Like, the store owner accepted being stagnant. They aren't trying to be better than what they were when they started. So it's like,
Okay, one last quick question is just kind of like a yes or no thing. Do you think that these small black-owned businesses, or even if they're not so small, just these black-owned businesses, should be held to the same standard as all the other stores or businesses that you would go in that's not so lower budget or not owned by us? Just a quick yes or no.
Yes.
excuse me. Yeah.
Same question. I'll just go to the next topic.
Without giving your answer?
I'm kind of in the middle, and I don't want to turn into another long drawn out thing because we already made both points. So
I just want to hear your thought. We don't got to talk after. I just want to hear what you got to say.
I'm kind of in the middle. I'm more so on the no side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more so on the no side. I feel like we should allow us more grace with us, because at the end of the day, like you said, we are the consumers. So we determine whether or not that business will continue to exist. So that was my only thoughts on that.
In the same token, though, real quick, that's a hindrance on the company by allowing them to be subpar.
It's not allowing, but allowing some grace. I'm not saying let them just be a terrible company and blindly support them, but I'm saying before we tear it down, try to offer some support, try to offer some advice behind closed doors, try to offer some solutions and say, hey, you lacking in employees. Maybe you should try to get employees.
Yeah.
That's literally the critique.
Without doing it on camera and making it a whole big thing on the internet.
I mean, if that's not my job, then okay.
But that's his job.
I was about to say, for Keith Lee specifically, that was his job. But if for me, my job isn't, being a food critic around the United States and the world for that matter. So if it's me and I go in and it starts off good and stuff starts to decline, it's like, hey, your employees kind of treated me this way. You know what I'm saying?
Sadly, in my experience, when you give a critique that a black business owner don't want to hear, they usually say, well, you don't have to spend your money here.
Hater, get out.
Yeah, like that's just usually what it is.
That's a fact.
More than not.
Okay, yeah. I see what y'all saying.
But I'm going to always go to them and try and support first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so that is going to spin off to another question that I would like to take credit for it, but it wasn't really mine. It was more Ray question. Do you think everyone should do you think everyone should strive to be an entrepreneur?
100%.
Yes?
I think yes. 100%.
Do you think everyone should strive to be an entrepreneur?
I wouldn't say strive, but yeah.
Okay. I don't think everybody should strive to be an entrepreneur.
I wouldn't say strive. I would say try, but I wouldn't say strive.
I don't even know if I think everybody should try to be an entrepreneur, but if you want to explain your answer, go ahead, Ray.
The biggest reason is if you just work in a regular job and that's your only source of income, they fire you, you're done for a while or till you find another job. Like, that's how so many people end up homeless and like behind because they only have one source of income to rely on. So it's not wrong with working a job and being an entrepreneur. Like, you just keep your options open, because relying on one source of income, like, it's going to be hard to escape the rat race unless you're like a high earner and can invest a very high amount of money to kind of like be your leverage. So say you got $500,000 invested in the stock market and you lose your job, you can draw out 10% of that to kind of hold you over because you invested. But if you're not a high earner, I think you should definitely try and have some type of entrepreneurial endeavor going on the side.
Okay, Ludo, what do you think?
Till you can make it like your full-time thing.
Okay, Ludo, what do you think about that?
I think at some point you should try to see if it's something that you can get yourself into. If you can handle everything that comes with being a business owner or starting whatever business that you're trying to think or trying to create, I think you should at least give it an attempt. And if it's for you, go for it. And if you get into it and you find out, or after the research that you do to see what it all entails, and you see, I can't dedicate myself to do all of that stuff, then at that point, you know where you fall in. Everybody, it's just about what you can personally take, what you personally can deal with, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that, especially if you got a family. You deciding on, do I quit my job and try to get into this venture to better support my family? Well, how long is it going to take? Like, All of that research, I think, should be done to see if you think or how you think you can go about doing that. And, you know, if they can, they can. And if they get into it and see that they can't, then they know where they fall.
I definitely think everybody should not try to be an entrepreneur. At one point, I was running my own business, and one of the things that pretty much crashed the market that I was working in was everybody trying to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wasn't ready to be an entrepreneur. Everybody didn't have an entrepreneurial spirit, but they were just told, you are supposed to be an entrepreneur. You're supposed to quit your job. Here's a way to make money. And a bunch of people just kind of blindly dove into it. I know it sounds good to say we should be trying it out. We should be looking into it and this, that, and the third, but it literally caused a whole entire market to shift from a bunch of people getting on IG and YouTube and saying, oh, this is a lane for us. So that's one of the reasons that I think everybody should not strive to be an entrepreneur, because everybody isn't going to do the research and the due diligence. So that's just my thought process on everybody.
So for the everybody, like, do you have a something else they should do instead of just relying on a company that can fire us anytime they want with just let you
Get
go?
a trade, get a skill. For that company that fire you, there's always going to be 50 more companies that are looking for somebody.
What if it's a downturn in that whole sector and they don't?
Get a side hustle.
That's being an entrepreneur.
I thought entrepreneur means you're running a legit business.
No, it just means when you're an entrepreneur, you just basically you're not working for nobody. You're working yourself.
Entrepreneurship isn't directly tied to running a legit business.
No, you can be an entrepreneur. Well, a side hustle can be a legit business.
Luda, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know nothing on that one.
When I say side hustle, most people's side hustles aren't legit businesses. I'm not telling y'all to go and commit tax fraud or tax evasion, but knowing how to make money different ways, I think that's something.
That's being an entrepreneur.
Okay, well, in that case, I concede. Everyone should be an entrepreneur. Then
in some type of way, right?
Maybe I would have to look up the definition of being an entrepreneur. Y'all talk about something while I look it up real quick.
I just think, just for me again, I think everyone, not necessarily try it as far as get into it and potentially fail at it, but when I say try, I'm saying doing the proper research to see if they're actually capable of doing it for whatever business they're trying to run or trying to get into. And then, like, while that's going on, you know, if you can get into it, cool. If you can't get into it, or you don't think that you're going to be as successful in that business or in that field, then don't. But I just feel like you should at least give it a try, give it a thought to see if it's something that you absolutely can be successful at. And if you don't think that you can, then don't even dip your toe in it.
So I just looked up the definition, and it says an individual that starts a business in a market or network where they're willing to take risks at the expense of running a business. So that's what it defined an entrepreneur at. I don't think everybody, I think you saying there's no, not saying or kind of making it seem like there's no risk or less risk in being an entrepreneur versus having a job or a 9 to 5.
No, it's probably more risk. But when you're an entrepreneur, you can have 5 different businesses that you rely on versus just one job that you don't control. When you're an entrepreneur, you have at least some type of control on your income. When you work for somebody else, the company can go down today and tomorrow. What are you going to do?
And if you have 5 of your own businesses, all 5 of them can crash at once. One thing can start a chain reaction.
That's highly unlikely to happen.
One thing can start a chain reaction, Ray.
That's very highly unlikely.
It's not highly unlikely. If I end up in the hospital for a week, guess what? I got paid time off at my job, so that
if you end up in the hospital and you own businesses, It's systems in place so that they're gonna run.
Who said okay, running and running efficiently is two completely different things. A business can continue to run, but that doesn't mean it can't run in the red. So where I'm going to be getting paid to be in the hospital for those five days from a 9 to 5, I'm going to be losing money for those 5 days that I'm in the hospital. And that might just start a trickle down effect. Everybody isn't going to just start 5 businesses at once or have 5 businesses to start. That's all successful making money.
True. And I never said you couldn't be an entrepreneur while having a 9 to 5.
So why can't you have a 9 to 5 and another job also, so that if job number 1 fire you, you got job number 2? What's the difference?
If you work in job number 1 and 2, that means you probably need both jobs to survive.
Okay, so what's the difference in if I have job number 1 and side venture number 1 versus job number 1 and job number 2?
Because at side venture number 2, you can't be fired.
Right, there's still a risk.
I'm gonna say
There's always a risk when running a business,
this
right?
is where I separate from
Yes,
you on
yes.
this.
There's always
There's no
a risk.
guarantee you're going to be successful and make money just because you're running your own business.
Yeah.
There's actually less likely of a chance of you succeeding
And then
and making money.
You definitely not making money in that first year. So now you just running a business in hopes that, you know, things start to pick up or things start to change and money start to come in. So now you work in a job.
That's situational.
Okay. And now you work in a job and trying to start your business at the same time. And now it's taking a little longer for you to really make money at this side venture, where if I got a second job, I know I'm making X amount of dollars.
Fair enough.
And some people don't need to take on that risk or try to balance that. That's why the only thing that I'm refuting is that everybody should try to or strive to become an entrepreneur. It's just not for everybody.
Yeah, I don't think everyone should strive for it. I say
Everybody should look into it though, right?
try it and give it research and look into it.
Research it, look into it, and see if it's for you. That's what I think. I don't think
But
everybody
strive
should
for
just.
Is that's where I'm on a different path with that. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think
I'm
everyone
just
should
not.
strive.
That's
like
not the end all be all.
I understand. A lot of I'm just speaking for me. Like most of the successful people that I look at and I study and all that stuff, everyone is successful and wealthy from starting a business. That's the direction I'm going in, and I would want everybody to try and go in that direction. Y'all saying everybody shouldn't go in that direction, which is cool. Maybe everybody can't handle that, but I'm gonna at least strive to go in that direction.
Do you know wealthy, successful people that have jobs?
I do.
Because I do. I know a lot of wealthy, successful people that also have jobs.
I do.
And like I said, with whatever piece of paper, whatever degree, whatever skill they have, they will always have a job where they won't be losing money. They will be
Examples?
making money. What do you mean by examples?
You said you know a bunch.
I'm not
going to
just call out a
Yeah, I'm
bunch
not
of
gonna
people
drop-
names on a
You
don't.
podcast.
I'm not
Like,
saying you don't have to drop names. You can give an example of what they do, what they own, stuff
I
like
know
that.
someone that's a car salesman that you said is very successful. You said that's a car salesman. I know someone that's a welder that's making very good money right now, and he can go to whatever company he wants to, and he will still be welding, making very good money. I know somebody with a CDL Class A that can go and drive a truck anywhere.
That's wealthy. And the CDA owner you talk about, he works for a company. He doesn't drive for
Works for a
himself.
company, yes, making over $100K a year, yes. Yes.
And you don't think he's trying to get his own truck to drive for himself?
No. No, because he's
You don't think
comfortable.
so?
He likes what he's doing. He likes the lifestyle that he's living. He likes not having to go and be gone for weeks or months at a time. He likes what he's doing. Yes. All the people that are working and are considered to be wealthy or successful, to them, they're fine having a 9 to 5. They're not saying.
Well, we talking about different types of wealth. That's all. That's all. We just talk about different types of wealth.
Everybody don't want to take on.
That's what I'm saying. We just talking about different types of wealth. It's not I'm not saying you wrong or I'm right. I'm talking about a whole different level.
So you're talking about what you see on the internet?
Yes.
Everyone should strive to be the internet people.
Because he's giving examples, and I'm mentally thinking of examples of people that I know.
Yeah, I'm not talking about people that
so you're
I don't.
thinking of
Yeah,
internet
yeah.
wealth.
Like I don't know nobody personally. That's
in our community.
That's where I would want to try
Objectively.
and get. No, I don't. So I look at other people who are successful in business, and I strive for that. And like everyone preaches, you're not going to get wealthy unless you start a business.
And I know for everyone that says that, I know another person that says you will be wealthy if you become a doctor, if you become a lawyer, if you become a
Judge.
CDLA driver, if you become a
Lawyer.
judge, if you stay at this company, if you do this, if you get this
most
straight.
of them are not wealthy. The more you make, the more you spend. So a lot of doctors and lawyers and stuff are not wealthy.
I know a judge that's wealthy.
A judge.
Yes, that's one of us.
That's what I'm saying. You know, a judge
Because
that's wealthy.
the one
Not
that's,
all
I'm
judges.
Speaking of the one that's one of us, specifically, I don't know,
understand what you're saying.
I don't know personally any of the other ones that are judges. I'm speaking on the one.
And that's all he do. He's just a
She.
judge. She's just a judge.
Yes.
She's not invested in the stock market.
I
She don't
know,
own property.
I personally don't know what other venture that she's in.
That's what I'm saying. You don't
I'm
know what
saying-
other venture she's in.
That's not the point.
That is the point.
No,
That's
it's-
my point.
You asked, do we know successful people that work? She goes to
answer is
work
yes.
and
You
she's
guys
a judge.
both said yes.
And then you said we're talking about different types of wealth. And
We
then
are.
I named the judge, which is one of the highest earners in this fucking country.
A judge is one of the highest earners.
A judge not up there with a lawyer and a doctor?
Depends on the type of lawyer and doctor.
Okay, so we probably just gonna keep going. In
Yeah, we
circles.
is.
I don't think everyone should strive to be an entrepreneur or feel like you won't reach the pinnacle of success or the pinnacle of your life unless you are an entrepreneur. I just don't believe that to be true. I think some people can just go to work and live a good lifestyle.
And
Yes, companies can fire you, but yes, businesses can crash. Like one isn't so much supremely better than the other.
real quick, everyone's versions of success is
It's not the
different.
same. I said that.
So
That's what I said.
So I'm not going to look at what I'm doing and say I'm less successful than you because you're making $1 million a year. And I would hope that you don't look at me at what I'm doing, working my 9 to 5, and you're working your business, getting $1 million a year, saying, yeah, you're not successful. You need to do more.
Right.
Because
That's what I said. I said what's wealthy for some people isn't wealthy for other people. That's all. I said I agree.
So everyone should not strive to be an entrepreneur.
Why not?
I was asking you, should everyone?
Oh, I still think yes.
Okay.
Everyone's not going to be successful, of course, but I think you should give it a try.
Okay.
I just think it's more people who hate their job than love their job.
Okay. Well, I've been on both sides of the fence and they both kind of sucked. So
Yeah.
they both sucked equally.
Was driving trucks your passion when you started your trucking company?
No, but driving trucks is what I tolerated.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know very many people that get paid to do their passion. There's a very select few, and there's a reason there's only a very select few that get paid to do their passion, because if everybody got paid to do their passion, we wouldn't have anybody working at all. Everybody would just be bosses and living the lifestyle that they want to live.
not true. Everybody don't have the same mental capacity or consistency to stay with the dream that they chasing.
everyone shouldn't strive to be an entrepreneur.
If everyone doesn't have the mental capacity to handle
I
it.
still think they should.
Well,
It seems like at this point you're just saying it just to say it.
No, I'm not. Like,
what you just said 5 seconds ago completely refutes your initial stance.
how?
You just
By saying
said
you should try,
everyone-
and if you can't,
said
and if
everyone
you
doesn't
feel
have
like
the
you can-
mental capacity to do it.
Yes.
So if they know that,
How do you
going
know if you
into
have it or not if you
they
don't try
know-
it?
If they know or believe within themselves that they don't have the mental capacity to do it, you're still telling them you should strive for it, and they're telling you I don't have the mental capacity to do it. Like, what is this conversation? You can't
Okay,
tell
I can-
them what they're able to do.
No, I said they should find out for themselves, so they should still try. That's all I'm saying. You can be an entrepreneur without doing any work. Somebody could say, hey, I got this house. You got a little bit of money, front $10,000, and that's all you got to do. And
Who
you're
just has $10,000? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Though.
one of the high earners that y'all was talking about who works.
We're talking about, right,
Now they're an entrepreneur without doing too much work.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, so all in all, you think everyone should be an entrepreneur,
Should at least strive to be an entrepreneur.
and then you're going to critique them and shut down their business and ruin their lives once they do that. You think everyone should not be an entrepreneur.
Research.
They should research and see if they can handle it so that when you come in there, you don't got to deal with their BS being a terrible business. I think everybody should not be an entrepreneur, but if you do choose to be one, I'm going to handle you with care and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and hope that you succeed. So,
Another episode down.
I guess that's another episode down. We'll see y'all next time. Let us know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe too.
Please like, comment, and
I
subscribe.
feel like we getting a decent amount of views now. Well, for us, what we would consider decent.
Yeah.
And no likes, comments, and subscriptions. So, if you watch this, just like, comment, and subscribe.
Please
Or
and thank
else.
you.
Or else. All right. Till next time.